Sunday. Hopefully everybody's having a great Sunday. The weather's absolutely amazing. A lot of you guys are probably cooking out. See some cookouts around the lake here. I wanted to come on tonight. We have a special guest coming on, a young client of mine. He's really just amazing young guy. His name's Kenny Coleman. And Kenny's coming on to really, I just want to interview him a little bit. He's a young guy. He's kicking a lot of butt. And I just wanted to bring him on to get his point of view as a younger man, a millennial, growing up in this economy, to really just kind of interview him so that people could get the younger point of view on what it's like to really grow up in this economy, this society, and to just explain to the millennials. And my daughter's young, 22-year-old. She's a millennial. She's killing it. So I wanted to bring Kenny on. Let me see if I can get him on here. Just bear with me for a second. Let's see. Shout and just give something back. Is we come on Facebook. Hey, there's Kenny. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Man, what's going on, brother? How are you doing?
Good. I was just blowing you up on Facebook here. You're absolutely killing it, man. I love your energy. I love your smile. You're handsome bastard. And what strikes me about you, I wanted to bring you on to chat with my network, because a lot of my network has younger kids and maybe even kids out of college, high school, college, kind of similar age to where you're at. My daughter's your age, and you and I have been chatting. We've been working together for a couple of months now, and some of the conversations we have, and I just I'm not amazed where you're at, because I know how this works, but I wanted to get your point of view and really just kind of get it out there to the younger generation that even with all the noise and the chaos on the internet, and you get out of high school and it's like, oh my God, you have a million options, like everything's wide open.
Right.
I wanted to just kind of let people know where you're at. I mean, what are you, 21 years old?
23.
23. Okay. When we started, were you 22 when we started? You had a birthday, didn't you?
I think my birthday was right before we started, so I just turned 23.
Gotcha. So you're crushing high ticket sales. You're crushing multiple revenue streams. You're touching off $30,000 a month. I know you probably wouldn't say that, but I can. So I wanted to bring you on to get a younger person's point of view, to show people what can happen when you get in front of the right information. So just tell us a little bit about your background and where you were, growing up, and just so, my audience here can get an idea of where you're coming from.
Yeah. So I grew up around entrepreneurship. I grew up around traditional business as well as network marketing. And I grew up in a single parent home with my mom. However, my dad was still in my life. And he just always talked about, residual income. He always talked about entrepreneurship. And, I got started on that path early. I tell people I always had two main dreams that I knew I wanted to do my whole life, which was play college football and own my own business. And I didn't know what type of business I wanted to own, but I knew I wanted to own one.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it really started I remember coming up with different little business ideas, all while growing up. I didn't really start my first main business I didn't really start a business that actually made money until I was like 18.
Okay.
I was 18 and I got into real estate for a little bit. And people think you need a lot of money to invest in real estate. I was investing in real estate at 18 years old with no money. And I had hired a coach. Matter of fact, that was when I hired my first coach, which was in real estate. It didn't do like a lot of mindset stuff, but he just, he taught me the real estate business and some of that stuff on how to do it. And, then I got into network marketing. Then I got into, I've been pretty much doing that the last almost 4 years, and then high ticket sales for the last almost 2 years. And it's just been an amazing journey. And like you said, I look up at 23. It definitely didn't happen overnight, but just had my first 5-figure month. And matter of fact, last weekend I had a 5-figure weekend. So this month will probably end up being around 15, 20 or so, something like that. But
nice.
Yeah, it's been a blessing. Super grateful.
Yeah, no, we've been blessed to be working with you. And just so people can get an idea, I mean, tell us a little bit about like where you were 4 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, 4 months ago, I mean, I started working with you 4 months ago. I kind of had plateaued in my businesses. I had been doing this. I had been doing high ticket sales. I was in, my network marketing company, um, and I had kind of plateaued. I was making probably like a couple grand per month. I was making enough to where like I've been working from home, you know, full time, for almost 2 years. So at that time, it was like a year and a couple months. And, I was making enough to cover all my bills. But when you're 23, you don't have a lot of bills. And I don't have car debt. I don't have, I just got the essentials. And if you don't have a family and stuff like that, your bills aren't that much. And
Hmm.
so I was making enough money from home throughout the different income streams that I did have to where I was covering all my bills, and I was making okay money, but I just wanted to grow, and that I knew I needed to really get a coach. I knew
Hmm.
I needed. It's funny. My pastor today, I went to church, and he said, usually your breakthrough is not going to come from hustling and working harder. It's going to come from you being humble.
Hmm.
And I took that to mean that, like, 6 months ago, or back in March when we first connected, I could have said, you know what, I don't need a coach. I'm just going to work harder. I'm just going to hustle more. I'm just going to, pound it harder. But I humbled myself and said, hey, there's some things that I don't know that I need
Hmm.
to know. And I can't teach myself what I don't know. And so I started looking for a coach. And then that's when I found you. And so, back when we first connected, I was probably making a few grand a month. And then, uh, a month and a half in, my income had doubled. So, probably went from 2, 3 grand a month to about 5, 6 grand a month. And then, I mean, like I said, I just had my first 5 figure month. And so you'd be surprised how much can happen.
Hmm.
When you told me, I remember you saying this exact phrase, and I've taken this phrase. And I remember you saying, I think you said it anyway. You said, in 6 months, you can be in a space where you can't even see where you're at currently with a telescope.
Yep.
And I just thought that was catchy. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a nice phrase, but literally, like, that's what happened. And the stuff's not magic, right? I did
Hmm.
I did the work. I showed up, but I also had the right coaching, and so it's yeah. I mean, it's been a blessing. I'm super grateful for you, and yeah.
Now I can see it written all over your face. I actually stole that phrase from Bob Proctor. He said, when you look back 12 months from now, you're gonna need a telescope to see where you were. And it sounds like a catchy phrase, but it's really, it's amazing. Now, I've been telling you for a little while now that it's not going to be long. It'll be inside of this year that you'll have a 6 figure month. And I think as of our last conversation the other day, I think you're actually starting to believe it. So
Right, yeah.
there is no big or small. A 6 figure month is not a big month or a small month. It's just a month.
Right,
It's all relative. And
exactly.
so you're starting to play around with some of the sciences of wealth achievement. I'm just really proud of you. But I don't know if you can put this. I don't know if you can answer this or not. But what do you think is the biggest thing to change? Especially, like, I'm really curious from a younger person's point of view. Like I said, there's so much noise out there on the internet. How do you focus, and what do you think is the biggest thing to change for you to really dial you in to focus and achieve?
Yeah. So when I think back to my journey, and I'm talking about the journey over the last 6 months, right? So I think the transformation starts. So, all right. So, okay, to even give you guys some more perspective, like, yeah, I was earning a, full time income from home, making a few grand a month, covering all my bills and stuff like that. Um, and but still, it was still a really big step of faith to hire a coach,
Mm.
because it wasn't $5, right? It was
Yeah.
it was a good investment, and I didn't have that money just sitting around, quite frankly. To be honest, I actually ended up having to I stepped out on faith, and I sold my car to get started in that coaching program, just because, the cars, I mean, listen, the car wasn't making me any money, right? I already work from home anyway. So the car wasn't making me any money. So the car had to go, right? And I think, to be honest, because listen, guys, my monthly income doubled within a month and a half. And yeah, I had a couple calls, and yeah, started going through a couple of lessons. But I think a major part of that was the transformation starts when you first take that step of faith. The transformation starts with that first step of faith, because you're showing up differently now. You're playing bigger now. You're having a higher vibration now. You're having higher energy now. You have a higher level of faith now. So you're attracting. So now, since you're playing bigger, before I was playing right here, so I was attracting stuff right here. Now I'm playing up here, and I'm attracting stuff up here. And that started when I made that decision. Success starts with a decision. And then, that was a big component of it. And then I think also, just having a coach and a mentor, I'm serious, guys, it's huge. You don't see in life, there's things that we know that we know. I know that I know my name. Hey, I'm Kenny Coleman, if I didn't tell you guys that. Then there's things that we know that we don't know. I know that me and Brian don't know how to do brain surgery, unless you're hiding something from me.
No, that's an accurate statement.
Exactly. We don't know how to do brain surgery. But then in life, there's things that we don't know that we don't know. If I have a red dot on my forehead, there's nothing that I can do within my own power to see it, but Brian could. And I think that was the biggest thing. I don't think there's ever going to be a time in my life where I don't have a coach or a mentor. If I'm right here and I'm trying to get to there, you can best believe that I'm going to find somebody already up here and hire them to teach me how to do it. Because, that's how you cut down on time. That's how you cut down on the learning curve. And I would just encourage anybody young, that's the biggest thing I would encourage you to do. Find somebody who has the results that you want and go learn from them. Whether that's, maybe you're single and that person has the marriage you want. Maybe you're broke and that person has, the financial lifestyle that you want. Maybe your business is stalling out and that person has the thriving business you want. Maybe that person, maybe, you're not having results health-wise and that person has the results you want, from a health physical standpoint. But, find the people with the results you want, and then go humble yourself and learn from them, and hire them. Hire them, pay them.
That's awesome. No,
Seriously.
Kenny, I mean, the words of wisdom. I mean, I hear people speak like that at the 3 times your age, and I spend over 6 figures a year on coaching myself, and everybody does. I mean, Grant Cardone has coaches, Robert Kiyosaki, everybody that's operating at a high level. We all, it's a common denominator of success, and you're right. You got to humble yourself, and I have to humble myself. There's no egos. The universe has a way of kicking the ego right out of you if you have a big one over time, and in the way of failures and not, like I said, not just understanding how this whole thing works. So, man, that's really, really amazing words of wisdom from such a young buck,
Thank you.
Well, with all the your level of awareness is definitely climbing. With all the opportunity that there is around, especially in America, why do you think so many young people are stuck?
Man, that is a great question. That is a great question. Why are most young people stuck? I think it probably comes down to priorities. You have choices. I could have took the money I spent on coaching and went out to a music festival in California or something stupid like that. I could have took, the couple $100 that I spent on a course here and a course there. I could have spent on bottle service at the club.
Right.
Something like that, And so I think so I guess that breaks down to vision, I've always had, I don't know. I mean, I thank God that I always knew what I wanted to do. And I think you got to have a vision for what you want your life to look like. And and who you truly want to be, and then you make decisions that align with that. You
Mm,
know, me spending $100 or $300 on bottle service at the club didn't align with the vision that I had for my life. So guess what? I didn't do that. You
mm,
know, instead I bought the course on marketing, right? And you know, it's just about, you know, figuring out what you want, having a clear vision for what you want, and then taking steps that align with, just that's really all you can do.
mm.
The results are going to come. Results always come, but results are just that, a result. So there has to be something that comes before results, which is habits. And you're in the habit of doing something right now. And either they're good habits or bad habits, or they're not necessarily good habits or bad habits, but they're either habits that align with what you truly want or habits that don't align with what you truly want. And from habits and consistency come results. And so I think you need to get clear on what you actually want, and who you want to become and the life that you want to lead and the person you want to grow into, and then develop the habits that'll help you get
Mm.
there. And the results won't come immediately, um, but you know, when you start to take those steps and you start to show up differently and you start to show up consistently and you start to change how you think, um, you know, the results will come over time.
No, I love that. So if I was going to boil that down, I think the advice would be get clear on what you want and then invest in yourself, whether it's courses,
Yeah,
seminars, programs, whether it's
yeah,
real estate. You know, we teach, obviously, we teach wealth mindset coaching, which is foundational, but it sounds like it's just really get a clear vision of what you want, kind of forget about
yeah,
the how because that comes, that's the result, and invest in yourself, invest in your
yeah,
education and your mindset. So I love that, man. So
exactly.
so as you know, we got our Impact Summit coming
Yeah.
up Tuesday night. I know you're already registered for that, and a bunch of your team is. What would you say to a young person that there's so, like I said, there's so much noise on the internet, on Instagram and Facebook, and what would you say to a young person that was maybe had seen any of that marketing, the ad about attending that summit? What do you think they're going to get out of that?
What I think you're going to get out of that, I mean, guys, I mean, there's going to be so many like millionaires on that deal. I mean, it's just ridiculous. If it, it it's the wisdom that's going to be on there, you know, for the value, it's ridiculous. And anytime I heard, you know, an old trainer say it like this, this guy his name was Jerry Clark, and he was a big trainer in the home-based business industry in, you know, the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, I think, and you know, rubbed shoulders with like Jeff Roberti, Jim Rohn,
Mm,
stuff like that. And he said, anytime you have a chance to get around multimillionaires, do it.
mm.
That's a good enough reason right there. I don't have to say anything else about even the content of the online summit. You know, you're going to be learning from millionaires the whole summit. It's ridiculous. I mean, the people, you know, obviously the great Brian Damaso, you know, Ray Higdon, Emily Vavra, Brian Carruthers. Some of these people, it really is crazy. I don't know how they got all these people for one. I don't know how they even did that. But you know, it's gonna be ridiculous the amount of value that people are gonna get from that. It it's really a no brainer, and I don't use that phrase really often, but it's, you know, it's ridiculous the
No,
value that people get.
yeah, that's awesome, brother. We feel the same way, and it's I just wanted to kind of catch from a younger person's point of view because, you know, like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on out there, and you know, some people might not, um, they might not know me, you know, at my age group,
Right?
and or even Ray. I mean, Ray's, you know, he's closer to my age, so it's more about, like you said, getting around,
Yeah.
you know, millionaires and people that are going on that direction and soaking up that value. So, listen, brother, I'm so proud of you, man. I can't say how proud I am of you, your diligence, the fact that you sold your car to work with us. I mean, I know
Yeah.
people 50 years old that wouldn't do. They wouldn't have the presence of mind to understand that the car's not making the money, but
Right.
investing in yourself will. So that's something that not a lot of people will do. So you got to take a deep bow on that one. And I just look forward to serving you in the future. I'm gonna have you back on again when you crack six figures in your month,
Let's do it.
which I'm predicting will be in 2019.
Let's
And
do it.
here's to your future and success. And I love you, brother. We'll talk soon. Thanks for your time, man.
Hey, brother, love you too. I appreciate you for letting me come on here. Super grateful for you, man.
Awesome. Grateful for you, man. Take care.
All right, bye.